Kia kato, welcome to another edition of the Hot Air Sports Podcast with me, Macca, and me mate Mahona's got the day off today, so we've called in Jeremy Elwood, our regular baseball specialist, wearing a cap of somebody who hasn't made the playoffs in how many years
Oh
now,
yes,
Jeremy?
sorry, Ian. I meant to actually. Uh,
Yeah,
this
throw that
this
one
is
away.
actually this is actually vintage from 1993, so it doesn't quite fit. But yeah, I was wearing that just in honor of you today. I was going to wear
Oh,
that one.
thanks very much. Yes, it's baseball playoffs time. We've already seen the wild card games, and before we even talk about the wild cards, what about the poor Mets?
Yeah, it's kind of flies in the face of this argument that everyone's just buying baseball, right? This argument
Yeah.
that the teams with the biggest payrolls are just going to steamroll everyone. I mean, I think that's been nonsense for a number of years anyway.
Oh,
I read
absolutely.
what is it, something like there's been 19 different World Series teams in the last 22 years, something like that. Anyway, I can't remember the
Mm,
exact numbers. But yeah, the Mets just fell off a cliff at the end there.
yeah.
As they've done for the last couple of years. I mean, they just fall apart down the stretch. They've basically been the National League Seattle Mariners, except the Mariners managed not to do it this year. Yeah, and they
Yep.
seem to be sticking with it. I mean, they I haven't seen big announcements. I mean, obviously, I think they're shopping it for a new manager, but I mean, Cohen's just going to do what he does. He's going to keep throwing money at the problem.
Yep.
And
Yankee fans
yeah,
were quite pleased that Juan Soto didn't make the playoffs. Um,
yeah,
how much? 800 million, 700 million
something like that.
they,
Yeah,
they spent on
and
on him. And
to be fair, it wasn't his fault. He had a terrific season.
yeah,
I mean, he started really slowly, but he had a great season. Wasn't his fault. No, it just sort of shows. I mean, it's the beauty of baseball, right? Any team can beat any other team on any given day. I
yeah,
mean, I'm not going to bang on about the Angels, but we were awful again this year, but we swept the Dodgers. You know, we didn't lose to the Dodgers this year. So there you go. That shows you right there.
quite right. Well, over the last week, we've seen wild card teams come and go, and we've already had one of the division series is completed. That
Yeah.
being my glorious Yankees, who just basically weren't good enough against the Toronto Blue Jays. The
Look,
Blue Jays just their hitting was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, two things. I think Yankee fans, at least, unlike last year's World Series, there can't be any argument that the Yankees didn't beat themselves this year. You know, there was no
Yeah,
Game Five of the World Series. That they were just outplayed. The Blue Jays. I mean, if any team was going to benefit from having the bye and the home field advantage, it was going to be Toronto.
yeah,
They came out firing and they never stopped. They basically had two bad innings in the whole series.
mm.
Otherwise, it was a steamroll job.
And they've done it without their top line pitching and their best hitter.
Yeah,
Bobichette was out, Scherzer's out, and Bassett.
yeah. I mean, they could well get Bassett back. Scherzer's just been left off the roster, but even having him in the dugout is like having a second pitching
Mm.
coach. And yeah, what a problem to have that Boba may be coming back, and now they've got to work out where they put him. Where do you put him in this lineup? It's because it's not as if they've been lacking contact hitters without him. No, they look like
Yeah,
a complete team, the Jays. They really do. Judge had his series that the
he
Yankees
did.
fans have
Yeah,
been waiting for years. He was terrific, but Guerrero was better.
yeah.
And
Well,
then
hang on. Guerrero, Springer,
yeah,
Varsho,
yeah,
Clement,
Clemente. Yeah, I mean they. I mean even
Schneider.
Alejandro Kirk, the catcher for the Blue Jays. He looks like the only reason he should be in a baseball stadium is selling beers, but he's a contact guy, and they are a complete team. They've got the guys who can hit for power, but they get on base, and I think.
Yeah,
I think they're going to push it all the way. I think they could, really really see their way through. But we can get to that as we talk about the other series.
yeah. It's going to be a really interesting ALCS.
Mm.
Going back to the any surprises out of the wild card results. I think the one for me was that three of the four series went to three games.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and also, I mean, as we record this, only one of the division series has been tied up. Seattle and Detroit are going to a game five.
Yep.
No real surprises in there. The Padres Cubs was maybe a little surprise. I mean, but again, I mean, the Padres have been a bit like the Mets as well. They've got a big payroll, they've got a team full of superstars, but they just can't seem to get it together in the postseason. I think Dodgers Reds was a foregone conclusion. The Reds sort of stumbled into the postseason and they didn't put up any resistance. Um, the rest of them, I mean, Detroit's continue to surprise. They've been so up and down. I mean, for a period, first half of the year, they were arguably the best team in baseball, and then really staggered to the finish
Yeah.
line, but have shown signs of life, particularly in that wild card series.
Well, their
So yeah, the
penultimate
wild.
series of the season, they got destroyed by Cleveland.
That's right. Yeah. So to come back and shut the door on them, but then I mean I think that's shown a little bit in this series against the Mariners is that they're tired. So the wild card, no huge surprises to me, except that like you say they most of the series went the distance.
I'm, I must admit, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I was still surprised we managed to come back from the one game down, even though they were in Yankee Stadium. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we actually did play some good baseball, but the problem with the
Yeah.
Yankees has been they can play good baseball for 2 or 3 weeks and then just not show up for a week.
Well, I mean, the problem this year wasn't that they didn't show up. The problem they played good baseball. That
Mm,
Red Sox Yankees series, it feels like a long time ago now after
it
this Blue
does,
Jays
doesn't it?
one, but it was a terrific series. I mean, it was a great wild
Yeah,
card series. And as much as I don't, you can't argue that they dropped the ball on this one, literally or
yeah.
figuratively. They played pretty well. They just got beaten. They got beaten
Mm,
by the better team, and there's no real shame in that.
yeah. So what have we got today? We've got some two of the it's the National League games today, isn't it?
Yeah, we
It's
got the Dodgers, Phillies, and is it it's not quite the decider, is it's game four for the
game four for Brewers and Cubs.
Brewers Cubs. Yeah,
Yeah, so the Cubs, this is uh, it's either do or die for them,
yeah.
and same with the Phillies. Um, so how do you see these games going? Who's pitching today for the? We got Boyd for the Cubs and Freddie Peralta for the Brewers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Peralta has again had a terrific season. Despite all the hype given to Mizorowski, and they've managed to keep Peralta healthy and pitching on full rest for this game. I think the Brewers will probably take that. Um, but it's funny you say that about do or die for the Cubs, though. It doesn't every game feel like do or die for the Cubs. I mean, they just feel like one of those teams, and this
Yeah,
is the battle of Craig Counsell in a way. Brewers playing, the manager that they lost. I think again, the Brewers have had a terrific. Sorry, I'm not quite sure what that beeping is. Is that in your hand? It's messages
no,
coming in. Doesn't matter. Um, the Brewers have been a pretty complete team as well all
they
season. I
have, haven't
mean,
they?
less flashy than the Blue Jays have just been recently, but yeah, I think the Brewers have probably got this today.
Yeah, one
Um,
player that surprised me a wee bit in the Brewers, who has bounced back of this year after a couple of lean years, is
Christian
Yelich.
Yelich. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
uh,
Yeah, I think Yelich is really benefiting from the fact that he's not the poster boy anymore.
yeah,
I really think he's the veteran and he's the number one guy, but he's the number one guy in the Brewers.
yeah.
That's it doesn't have the pressure of Judge or
Mm.
Otani or he can just sort of do his thing and he's been doing it very effectively.
And he's got some really good young players playing alongside him, like Jackson
Yeah,
Churio. He's a hell of a
yeah,
player, that kid.
absolutely. Yeah, the Brewers are a fun team to watch. I mean, they're the Cinderella story this year. They even though they've actually been the best team for more than half the year. I mean, they've just quietly gone about their business. So yeah, no, I think the Brewers. I would predict the Brewers win today, and if they don't, I think they'll take it in Game 5. I think going home. The Phillies finally showed up yesterday.
Mm,
Like that had been to me the disappointment. The most disappointing series so far was I really thought Dodgers Phillies was going to be the blockbuster, and the
yeah.
Phillies just they looked like they fell asleep during their few days off getting the bye.
Mm.
But they did. They turned up yesterday, and the Dodgers will be throwing everything they've got. They do not want to go to Philadelphia for a Game 5. I mean, that is a recipe for disaster for Dave Roberts.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you could argue that the biggest home field advantages in baseball are in Philadelphia and Toronto, and we saw it in the Toronto Yankees series.
yeah,
That Rogers Center it's a cauldron, and Philadelphia is the same.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that'll be a tough game today because the Dodgers bullpen is a train wreck at the moment, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the other matchup, Philadelphia and Dodgers, have you, as you mentioned, that's as we record, it's underway. Christopher Sanchez is on the hill for the Phillies, and Tyler Glasnow
Yeah,
for the Dodgers. As you say, the Phillies they really need to take this one, don't they?
yeah,
Well, it's do or
and
die for them, basically.
and they do seem to be waking up. I mean, Schwarber was fantastic yesterday. That monster home run he hit. I mean, that's
Mm,
vintage Schwarber. You're seeing signs of life from Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, and then some of their lesser known guys, Brandon Marsh, Alex Boehm, they're all starting to pick it up. My question is, it might be too late. They
yeah.
may have left it just a bit late. A lot will depend on Glasnow. I mean, if he can go, say, 4 innings plus, then the Dodgers are in a good position. If he gets knocked out early, then it's anyone's game.
Yeah, I think with all those hitters you mentioned for the Phillies, they really need someone like Nick Castellanos to come right. He's had a
Yeah,
shocking year with the bat, and he
yeah,
has showed signs in the last game or so.
yeah.
He's getting some good connection, but it's just not going where he wants it to.
Yeah, no, I mean the word is there's been some stuff behind the scenes with him. Him and his manager have had disagreements. But if he can click, I mean, this is the thing. If the Phillies can get over the hump today, then all bets are off with them. I mean, they could very easily take Game 5 at home with that crowd behind them.
Yep.
Because I mean the Dodgers are in this position where like Tanner Scott's out now for the rest of the series. I mean, not that he had a great year, but it's one less reliever that they've got.
Mm.
And you saw Roberts was forced to just sacrifice Clayton Kershaw yesterday. I mean, he just let the guy burn out there. It was horrible to watch, but he didn't have any choice because he needed to save Sasaki and Sheehan and Veria for today.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Dodgers will be throwing everything they've got at it, and they've got a lot. you know,
On
I find
to
the
and there's
Dodgers.
a
Sorry,
sorry.
no,
No,
I
I'm
was
just
just
gonna.
going to say the Dodgers. It's like watching an All-Star game, which I know
Yeah,
don't really enjoy watching because I want the unsung hero. There are no unsung heroes on the Dodgers. Everyone they throw out there has an MVP or a Cy
yeah,
Young or it's just come on, you should be good.
yep. Actually, good segue there. Good Cy Young segue because tomorrow
Mm,
the Cy Young favourite who won it last year, Tarek Skubal, goes
mm.
for the Detroit Tigers. It's going to make it tough for the Mariners, isn't it?
It does, except they've kind of figured him out. I mean, the
Mm,
Mariners have actually they beat him in game two. They beat him at least once or twice in the regular season. Um, the Mariners, I think I was I thought they would win it yesterday because I thought getting over the hump of not having won a playoff game at home for what was it 24 years they
something like
finally
that.
broke that hoodoo, and I thought the Mariners were going to roll from there. It wasn't the case. So yeah, I think that'll be a great game. I mean, that'll be a really tough game, and whoever comes out of it basically turns the championship series into a Canadian derby,
Yeah.
because West Coast Canadians are a lot of them are Mariners fans because it's the
Mm.
closest team to Vancouver, and even if it's Detroit and Toronto are virtually neighbors.
Well, there's a
So
tunnel
yeah,
between Detroit and Canada, isn't
yeah,
there?
that's right. Yeah. Um, Yeah, so that'll be a tough. I mean, Skubal is an absolute ace in the hole. I mean, the guy is more than likely going to win his second Cy Young. He's been
Mm,
terrific. If he rises to the occasion, then the Mariners, it's tough for them, particularly because their big. I mean, their big hitters haven't quite fired. Like
no,
Rawley's been getting on base, but he hasn't been slugging it the way you
yeah.
expect. Yeah, that'll be an
Well,
interesting game.
Polanco's been doing the hard hitting, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
that's
He
right. Yeah.
basically won the game for them the other day.
Yeah, I mean, this is why they got him back for moments
Yeah.
like this. It's a bit like Teoscar Hernandez for the Dodgers. This is why he's here.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that'll be I'm going to edge towards the Mariners for that one. Actually, I think being at home, having gotten over that curse, if you want to call it that, of not having a home win, I think the Mariners could scrape by. I'd be really happy though to see either of those teams go through. I mean, that's the matchup. That's the wily underdog matchup that I've been talking about. That's the fun one.
You think the Blue Jays might be quietly wanting Detroit to get through so they don't have to travel right across the other side of the country?
Yeah, quite possibly. Although, I mean, from what you saw, like I said, Toronto had those, what was it, 4, maybe even 5 days off because they had the bye in the
Mm,
AL. But they came out, they looked hungry in that first game against
yeah,
the Yankees. This is a young team, youngish team, but they've been on the cusp for a couple of years. They've never lived up to their talent. And this year, if anything, they've exceeded their expectations. And they look ready. They just look ready. So I don't think the travel is going to wear them down too much.
yeah. Well, here's hoping not. And we're probably looking at a Brewers Dodgers NLCS, aren't we?
Hmm. Yeah, we
Um,
are. And talk about David and Goliath. That's
oh,
a fun
100%.
series. Yeah. Again, I mean, logic tells me the Dodgers have got to click at some point. They actually,
Mm,
I mean, they swept the Reds. They've been beating Philadelphia, but they haven't looked great.
yeah,
And again, speaking of breakout moments, Otani, what is he, 1 for 9 in this series so far? Played well in the wild card series, but he
yeah.
hasn't had his moment. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, my brain tells me that the Dodgers would win that series, that they'd beat
Mm.
the Brewers, but the Brewers have defied expectations all year. So who knows?
And I mean, you look at the Brewers pitching. Um,
Mm.
you've got Peralta, you've got I've forgotten their names now. Um,
So Woodruff, is he with Brewers? No.
yep, Woodruff.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was one other as well who I can't think of right now. But
Yeah.
um,
This is
yeah,
the
I
Brewers,
mean,
though, right? This is what I mean. Is
it
that
is, yeah.
you can't name their lineup. You can name a handful of their players, but they had the best record in the National League. So
Mm, mm. The Phillies are interesting, aren't they? Because this is second or third year in a row. It looks like they're going to go out before getting to the
yeah,
World Series, where they've had the lineup that should be getting through to the World Series.
yeah.
They ended up being dominant in their division. To finish the second best record behind the Brewers, but just
Mm.
can't seem to put it together on the big day.
Yeah, and their window's closing.
Mm,
They're all those guys are getting a little older. I mean, Bryce Harper's in his mid-30s now.
yep.
Shaw was a free agent at the end of the year. I mean, I strongly suspect he's going back to Philadelphia, but this team that they've put together. I mean, for the last 3, 4 years, it's almost seemed inevitable that they were going to win a World Series at some point, and they just haven't done it. So
Mm,
this year is huge for them, which may explain why it's taken them so long to get out of the gate in this series.
yeah,
There's a lot of pressure on this team.
absolutely. Um, I'm going to ask for the prediction. Who's going to win it all from here?
Look, to be absolutely honest with you, I'm going with the Blue Jays. I think they've got the momentum. Um, and the thing about the Dodgers is if you can get to that bullpen, you're in. Their bullpen is, I mean, it's beyond bad at the moment.
Mm,
It's falling apart. Their starting pitching's been pretty good. But you look at someone like Blake Snell. I mean, the thing with Snell is you just need to make him throw pitches. He walks a lot of guys, and he doesn't go deep into games. And the Blue Jays have that lineup. They can knock him over the fence, but they've got people who can put up 8, 9, 10 pitch at bats and just wear him down, get him out of the game in the third, fourth inning, and you're into that bullpen. And yeah, Toronto they look like a juggernaut this year. They really do.
And when you look at it, if they do play the Dodgers in the World Series, they'll have home advantage
of course, yeah,
because
absolutely,
they had a
yeah,
better record.
and it's a big deal. I mean, home advantage at
Yeah.
Rogers is a really big deal. In a way, a more interesting World Series would be the Brewers, who
Mm,
are a far more similar team. That would be a hell of a World Series. I
yeah.
mean, just the quality of baseball between those two would be, I think it'd be a far more entertaining series to watch. And I'm not sure about my prediction there, but I don't quite see the Brewers getting past the Dodgers. So my pick is Dodgers Blue Jays World Series, and I see the Blue Jays taking it in six.
Yeah, if that is the World Series, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Blue Jays will get through. Um, I do worry about Detroit though, just because of their pitching,
Mm,
especially the starting pitching.
yep,
Um, they've got the ability. I mean, Scooble and Flaherty on his day, he's not been pitching that great lately. But if you
yeah,
get him on his day, I mean, he did it in the World Series last year, didn't he?
yeah. Look, I
He
completely agree.
wasn't pitching great up until the World Series, but then cut the Yankees down.
I completely agree with you. I just, at the same time, I don't see the Tigers getting through Game Five.
Mm.
I think the Mariners at home with that rabid fan base who are, really, really pushing it. I think, and the big thing is the Mariners seem to be the only team that have worked out Scooble to a certain degree. Um, if the Tigers beat the Mariners tomorrow, then that again, Tigers Blue Jays, that's going to be a hell of a series.
Yeah,
I might get in touch with my relatives in Ontario and see if they've got a spare room for a week.
quite right. And I mean, the Mariners pitching is pretty good too. I mean, Logan Gilbert's had a great season, um, as has who's the other
Castillo.
guy? Yeah, Castillo.
Mm. Yeah.
They
Well,
could
isn't it
they can
funny?
both.
I mean, the last 2, 3 years, everyone's been saying the Mariners have had the best pitching in baseball. They just needed offense. And this year, it's
Mm,
been the other way around. They got the offense, but the pitching hasn't lived up to its expectations. So if
yeah,
it clicks, if it clicks, then anything's possible. But it's just something about this Blue Jays team. I mean, I showed you that hat. They remind me of
mm,
that '90s team. They just feel like they've got something about them. They're well rounded. They've got the pieces. They've got the superstar. The biggest question mark around the Jays was their pitching. And, you had this kid, Trey Savage, come out of
oh,
nowhere. And, you add him, you possibly get Chris Bassett back. They managed to, they won it with a bullpen game
mm,
yesterday. So, yeah, they might just have enough. Maybe you put Scherzer on that postseason roster. I mean, what do how do you turn down the option of having Max Scherzer come
yeah,
out in the seventh or eighth inning of a game five? That's huge. Yeah, so it's all happening, Ian.
yeah. I
It's
mean, I having
it's
just
great
having just
baseball.
watched the bulk of every pretty much every pitch of the Blue Jays Yankees series. I
Yeah,
just couldn't get my head around how quickly they were just getting out of the blocks. You know,
yeah,
3 innings with 13-2 down.
yeah, and they're
In game
relentless.
two, and
Yeah, well, they play the kind of baseball. I told you I'd bring it back to my team. They play the kind of baseball that the Angels played in the early 2000s when they won their only World Series.
mm,
It's small ball, but with a guy who can clear the bases. I mean, that
yeah,
was that was Toronto's first ever grand slam in a postseason when
mm,
Guerrero knocked in the four. But that wasn't even the bulk of the scoring in that game. I mean, like you
yeah,
say, Varsho drove in half a dozen runs.
yeah,
They've got six guys who had 3-hit games in that series against the Yankees. Yeah, I mean it's a deep lineup. It's going to be tough to beat.
yeah. Well, it was after Judge's home run and then a run in the next inning that was the first
Mm.
time the Yankees were ahead in the series, and
Yeah,
that was
like I
in
said,
game
the
three.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays had two. They had two rough innings. And one of them didn't matter. One was when
Mm,
they were up 13-1. They ended up winning that game 13-7.
yeah,
That one, and then there was that one inning in Game 3 where their defense let them down. I mean, Judge's home run bounces off the foul pole, but he's also got at least one of the runners on base shouldn't have been there, reached on an error.
yep,
Um, so yeah, it's I mean, who knows? This is the beauty of baseball, right? The wheels could completely fall off. We could see Detroit wipe the floor with Seattle tomorrow and then come in and outpitch and outduel in the Battle of the Great Lakes
yep.
against Toronto. And we could see, who knows, maybe the Cubs sneak through and surprise everyone once again. But I don't know. My brain doesn't quite let me go there. Logic dictates it's the two teams are going, yeah, Blue Jays, Dodgers, and I just think the Blue Jays have the momentum.
Yep, I think I'm with you on that one, Jeremy. Not that we often agree
No,
on
no.
what's going on in baseball, but that's the beauty of the conversation
And it's
and
hey, look,
in itself.
as a Yankees fan, you've got to hope that the team that knocked you out goes on to win the whole thing, right? That
Absolutely,
takes a bit of the sting out of it, where you just go, well, at least we lost to the eventual World Series champions.
quite right, quite right. Now, big question I'm going to ask, and this is
Mm,
I'm not going to worry about the rookie of the year or the manager of the year or
mm,
anything like that. MVP,
mm.
Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge?
I'm a little biased on this because I'm, not. There's something about Judge that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is, but there's something about him that annoys me.
Not the
Uh,
clean cut Derek Jeter persona, is it?
yeah, he has an enormous head. Look, all accounts are he's a lovely guy, and obviously, arguably the greatest right-handed hitter, certainly of this generation. Um, I would vote for Rawley though. I think the positional battle makes a difference in this one. I think if Rawley was an outfielder, it would go to Judge. But the fact that he's a catcher and a good catcher, and he's been running that pitching staff who are not at 100%, I think that plays into it. Um, and also, I mean, for the fact Judge had a terrific series, terrific postseason this year, except for the fact that basically anything hit to right field was like a ground rule double in that series. Not his fault. He had no business being out there, but you can't bench him and you can't bench Stanton. So he was
Yeah.
kind of a. It was unfortunate that he had to play right field because he was a liability out there. To me, it's such a close race. I mean, I can imagine it being decided by one vote at the end of the day.
Yeah.
My If it was my vote, it would go to Rawley simply because of the catching. Um, Simple as that.
Do I need to tell you mine?
No, I know yours. I mean, hey, and you don't even need to argue it. I mean, the guy's season has been historic. His numbers are unbelievable. Um, he carried that team for a large bulk of this year. It was on his enormous shoulders. Um, yeah, like I said, the only thing for me is the fact that I don't know how much that's going to play into the minds of
Yeah.
actual voters, but catching every day and still doing what he did
Mm.
with the bat is remarkable.
Well, no other catchers got near it, have they?
No, nowhere
Hitting that
close.
many
Yeah,
home runs. I mean,
yeah,
everybody thought Jorge Posada was, one of the top hitters and catchers of his
yeah.
time, but he never 20, 25 home runs a season would be the most he ever hit.
Oh, look,
And to
if
do
you
what
get
Riley's done is pretty bloody good. I agree.
I mean, if you have a catcher who hits 20 home runs a year, you've got a superstar.
Yeah,
You really do. You look at the Molinas, the Posies, even Pudge Rodriguez, 25, 30, you're Hall of Famer. This guy
yeah,
hits 60 and
yeah,
is still catching virtually every day. I mean, the only other guy who's come close to that in recent years as a catcher is Salvador Perez, and he's been playing more and more games at first base because he's getting on and his knees hurt.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that, like I say, if he played any other position, then this would be a runaway win for Judge. Runaway.
And before
Um,
we finish, just wondered, are you going to be sitting on your backside eating chips on a Sunday afternoon, watching cars go round and round the Bathurst circuit?
I'm not a car guy. I'm not a racing guy. So sorry about that. I can't help you with that particular podcast.
Oh, well, I will be.
Um, yeah, there. I'm sure. What have we got on Sunday? I mean, isn't that potentially the two game fives in the
Yes,
in
yeah,
the in the National League? I'll be watching that. Yeah, or
yeah.
I'll
Well,
have
I'll
a much
be.
much needed day off
Yeah. Well, I'll have the TV. I'll have Bathurst on the TV, and the baseball on the laptop sitting in
on
front
the
of me
app.
on the
Yeah,
footstool.
yeah.
Yes. So
There's
it's
a lot of
a
baseball yet to go, so it's
there
great. It's a
is,
great time of
yes,
year. Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
And yes, we will talk again soon as we get closer to the World Series.
yeah.
Um, if anybody's going by my picks, don't put money on my picks at the TAB. I've been proven to be so wrong so many years in a row.
Oh,
So just ignore mine. You're
yeah.
probably better off going with what Jeremy says. So anyway, that is today's edition of the Hot Air Sports Podcast. It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.